How's it going, everybody? Let's just go ahead and let the stream boot up. Give it maybe 5-10 minutes. Good morning all around. Good morning, good evening. I'm going to give it a few minutes for people to just join in, for those announcements to go out. How has your trading gone over this past week since I last saw y'all? Probably not too well if you're a holder, if you're an investor, or if you're an active trader. Could have gone either way, I'll tell you that. How's it going, Santi? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Where are you from? Where are you from? I guess if it's afternoon, then somewhere in Europe, if I had to guess. But yeah, charts are looking funky over these past few days. I will say that there's some good opportunity on the short side and on the long side, but just nothing really predictable. It's pretty random right now. Oh, how's it going? I'm glad. First time. Oh, you're in Ghana. I feel like I asked you that before. Awesome. Wow. I know Bybit has a pretty good African community, so that's cool to see you over here in the main chat as well. Let's go ahead. Let's give it maybe one more minute. Before we get started, if we have any requests for chart analysis, I've already got Axia Infinity on the list. That's going to be number one, left over from last week. How's it going, Kilo? Good to see you, White Hat Hacker. So if anybody has any pair or chart requests, we're going to do Axia first because that was already requested last week. Just let me know anytime during this live stream and I will add them to the list and we'll do them towards the end. Maybe we'll take a break in the middle, do some chart analysis as well, because that's the fun part. This week, we're going to talk about trading in a bull market versus trading in a bear market. Just a few of the idiosyncrasies. Did I butcher that? Idiosyncrasies that will change depending on if we're in an overall primary bull trend or a primary bear trend. I would say Asante. Oh, I see. I would say we were very confirmed, or everybody's saying this, so it's not controversial, or I'm not making some crazy claim. We are in a bear market right now across the board. I believe all of the stock market indices have slightly dipped below that 20% level. I believe cryptocurrency is probably down, I don't even know, across the board on average, but it's not looking good right now if you are a long-term holder or investor. But if you do have an opportunity to buy back a little bit more, take a little bit of that savings, throw it back in. Is that t-shirt for sale? I'm not sure. I'll have to ask them. Let me ask. They just sent this to me, so let me ask. I'll have to find out who to reach out to for that one. So yeah, there are going to be some changes that you will see, some differences that you will see in trading in a bull market versus a bear market. Just some ways you set up your trades, some ways you set up your risk rewards and your exits. You may need to take some time where you scale back your trading size or your position size per individual position to start to learn these. I've been doing that myself over the past couple of weeks, scaling everything back and relearning the trades back towards the short side with a little bit of Bybit merch is free. With a little bit a bias towards the short side for those sell targets, usually, especially if you are on the short side of the trade. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'm going to run through some of these differences that I was able to lay out. I'm going to add this to the stream real quick. This is Trading Mindset. My name is Brandon. Let's go ahead and run through this super short lecture. It's really just a few slides, and then we are going to move over to the chart for some chart analysis. How's it going? Thank you for joining from Korea. Thank you for joining, everybody. We're going to do this short lecture, and then we're going to do some analysis towards the end, and then we're going to give away some bonuses. So, quick disclaimer, we got to do this. This live stream is for educational purposes only and should not be interpreted as financial advice or an investment recommendation. Trade and invest at your own risk. This doesn't include all of the chart analysis at the end. It's all just for educational purposes. We're really just looking at charts. Everybody's throwing out their opinion, only opinions. Your thoughts on the Asian market? I've not been following the Asian market. I've been following the crypto market and the U.S. market recently, and a little bit of the U.S. dollar and euro, but I am not the guy to ask. Oh, hey, how's it going, guy? Oh, that's a special viewer right there. That is I know that guy. What indicators are working in the bear market? They should work on both markets. They're the same indicators you're using. Your RSI, your MACD, your Bollinger Bands should all work. What specific indicators have you been using? And I can just kind of guess if they'll work on the other side. They usually do. Oh, Andre's having fun in the chat. If you've seen the Crypto Beat YouTube series, he's one of my my co-hosts. So let's go ahead and run through this. Trading in a bull versus a bear run, some generalities, just some things that you'll probably run into firsthand. Some pros of trading in a bull run, or actually trading in a bear run versus trading in a bull run. Sorry, this isn't formatted extremely well. So some pros of trading in a bear run. Number one, the historical price action is almost always present. So you may have to go back months or even years, but most of the time, unless we're hitting all new lows, which would be pretty rare, you would be looking at a chart with a newly listed pair. So you'd be looking at something that listed maybe, 5 months ago, and we don't have that price action, or it's a newly listed coin in general across the board. But for anything that's been around for at least a few years, at least from the last bull and bear market cycle, you will have that previous price action to compare to, and to possibly set up some nice support and resistances on those longer term time frames. So that is one of the pros of trading in a bear market, is that you do have that price action to compare to, especially in comparison to a bull market in which we're breaking out of all-time high levels. Just based on what we've been seeing for these past few cycles for cryptocurrency in general, the bull market price action above all-time high levels is a little bit more rare than, or hitting those all-time high levels on the long side is a little bit less rare than hitting all-time lows on the short side. So just a generality. Number two, depending on your trading system, a strategy can quickly be manipulated or redeveloped to perform on the short side. Not always. Obviously, you are going to have trading systems that only work on the long side, only work on the short side. Something like the higher highs method or the lower lows is just the obvious go-to. However, if you already have a functional higher highs method and you switch over and you start trading on the lower lows method, you're just flipping that on its head, and you probably have a pretty profitable strategy. You may want to manipulate your risk rewards, your sell targets, or your stop losses just a little bit, but you can learn that over time and adjust your position size until you have that locked down. Let's see, any good questions that I can answer real quick? You're a fan of trading mindset, win trade every day. Good to have you in here. You lost 51,000 US dollar tether. Oh my. Is that in that from trading? Is that a leverage trade? What else? Bitcoin movement is kind of the same way. Even though the equity market is bearish, Bitcoin still hasn't broken support at 20K. I wonder why. So the Bitcoin and the general equities market do follow very closely, especially in situations like this where we have big like, not, how did you say it? Just I can't remember the word, but very large events that just take over anything like that. So here's the question. The equity market is bearish. Bitcoin still hasn't broken support at 20K. Now, if the equity market probably breaks down on some of those weekly and monthly closes below right around the 20% or being 20% down, we may actually see that. We're still holding support. We don't know right now in terms of volume coming in. It's up in the air. If Bitcoin breaks down below 20K, if Ethereum breaks down below 1K, there should be a domino effect coming from all of those cells that are just below those levels. But I'm going to try not to think about that right now. Let's try to focus on active trading. That's what I'm doing right now, rather than going for those big trades based on those big support and resistances. So number three, you can be equally or more profitable than a bull market for traders, depending on subconscious biases. So you can be more profitable in a bear market than a bull market. If you haven't traded in both before, you actually don't really know. So based on your subconscious biases of trading, of whatever you think of cryptocurrency in general, what do you think of specific cryptocurrencies, specific pairs. That's all going to come into play, and you might not know how you're actually going to react. Set those sell targets based on levels on the short side if you've only been trading on the bull side. So it's kind of random, but you could actually trade a lot better on the short side if your subconscious is set up for that. Finance related, global catastrophe. Yeah, we gotta keep it trading related, guys. So some cons of trading in a bear market. Number one, trading pairs tend to be limited in comparison to spot markets. This means if you're trading on the short side, usually you have more spot market trades or spot market pairs in which you can make long side trades than a leverage market trade, an options market trade, a futures market trade, in which you can make short side trades. This is just in general, it will depend on the exchange. Bybit is pretty good about offering pretty much equal on both sides, but you will find exchanges out there that only offer spot market and long side trades, especially with no leverage, especially in the US, especially in a lot of the more restricted areas of the world. However, some of those exchanges like Bybit will actually be pretty equal, pretty even. Number two, volume can become extremely limited for a smaller market cap pair. We see this pretty often when you see a very small market cap pair in general start to run its course and just kind of teeter all the way down close to zero, or close to an all-time low level. It teeters down and we see volume start to fall off. In a bear market in general, we do have a little bit lower volume than in a bull market. Don't have as many retail investors flooding into those smaller market cap coins. We do see a lot more focus on what are considered blue chip cryptocurrencies. Number three, if you're an investor as well as a trader, it's going to hurt a lot. I think we're all probably feeling this, or most people are probably feeling this. If you don't have a perfect, capital allocation right now where you're 100% in USDT and you're only making swing trades, it's probably going to hurt if you have long-term investments in cryptocurrency. That is completely fine. That's all part of cryptocurrency trading and cryptocurrency holding. It's also part of equities holding. We're going to see global crises like this. We're going to see big bear runs and big bull runs. You got to be prepared for both sides. Let's see what else. What could be Bitcoin bottom as per the chart in previous history? I can't make an estimate on that. I'd say I'm a swing trader. I'm a scalper. And that's just kind of guessing. Whenever you're looking for guessing, you are guessing. Whenever people call the bottom, whenever people call the top, in my opinion, it's guessing. Hey, Santi, I'm going to make, it's going to be a separate video about trading options, short and longs, how to exit them for options. It's not going to be on stream. So I actually already have that written down, the options tutorial, but it's going to have to be a separate video. So heads up. So talking about sentiment. Oh, the screen's not clear. I'm sorry, it's in 720p. But I will talk through everything so that you guys can know what's going on. So number one, bias in sentiment. In order to help understand how sentiment and news affects bear markets, this is just a pretty good metaphor in order to get your head in a good headspace, or your mind in a good headspace. It's necessary to understand market momentum. Trading textbooks will often use Newton's first law of motion as a metaphor. An object at rest stays at rest. An object in motion stays in motion with the same speed in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. So this is for a fundamental trader or an events or news-based trader, not necessarily a technical trader. So I'm not as much as an expert on the news or event side of the trade, but I do understand because this is a very common method and a very common little lesson that a lot of people talk about. So when applied to trading in specific markets during a bull market, one bearish piece of news may slow the uptrend, but it is very unlikely to reverse it. So if we're in a bull run, if we're going between 40 and 60K, and we see one piece of bearish news that, let's say, what do I have here? Coinbase delist 5 crypto pairs. That's going to read a lot different in a bull market than a bear market. In a bull market, people might be thinking, all right, they're trimming the fat, they're cutting out the low market cap altcoins from their listings or from their offerings. Now, in a bear market, people might think, all right, they're having liquidity issues with those coins. Maybe they're having liquidity issues with more coins than just those 5. So things are read differently. Things are read differently in a bull market than a bear market, especially on the news side, and we get different sentiment from that. So it's on the opposite in a bear market. The same piece of bearish news can have an obvious and tradable effect on the price. So if we're already seeing that cascading effect and we don't have as much positive sentiment to kind of hold up our support levels, then we may see some single piece of bearish news like we've seen in the past couple of weeks. There's been tons of bearish news coming out, but even a smaller piece of bearish news could cause the price to tumble a little bit further, and it'll have a much greater effect on the price. Maybe not in terms of absolute price action, but in terms of what we're seeing as the continuation of our trends. In a bull market, we see a little bit of bearish news. Maybe it pulls us back, causes us to correct just a little bit, but we continue that bull trend. In a bear trend, we're going to see an acceleration of price action in that same direction. So it feels a little bit stronger, and the sentiment all builds up, it adds on, and applies to what you're thinking about. All right, number 3, before we get over to the charts, again, if you guys have any suggestions for chart analysis, go ahead and throw those out. We'll take a look. All right, hello, crypto. I can't probably say that on stream. What are your rules of trading? Number 1, never trade against the market, never catch the falling knife. Follow the trend, I agree. Number 2, always protect capital, have your stop losses. Oh yeah. Number 3, if you can't win in spot, you can't win in leverage. There's a lesson right there. You should get Crypto Poon on here. Number 4, charts only go up and down. There is no magic formula. I'd say, yeah, you can only create probability based on what you're looking at. Don't catch falling knife is what some scalpers do. Not ideal for newbie traders, though. Yeah, kind of. I think in crypto, you can comment on this whenever you're saying not catching a falling knife, maybe a little bit more macro. A scalper will probably do this on a shorter term time frame. You wait for that higher higher, that lower low, and you go for like a 1% trade versus catching a falling knife on Link long term or Link intermediate term. Yeah, Luna is golden proof. Yeah, exactly. It can always go lower. It absolutely can. That's why you set your stop losses and always have number 2 set. Thank you for the lessons. Good stuff. All right. Trading in a bull run versus bear run strategy. How can you change your strategy? What strategies will be changed in a bull run or a bear run? So some strategy comparisons. Systems that favor the bear side are usually going to outperform those that favor the bull side in a bear run. Example, a lower low strategy will average more profit than a higher highs strategy. That makes a lot of sense because we're going to be very limited on the bull side. We're going to see buyers get dominated by sellers in most circumstances. On average, buyers are going to be winning, and that is what is pushing the price down over time. So we may see small wins or small battles that are won by the buyers, small little corrections where we get a little bit of relief, but overall, the war is being won by the sellers. So if you have a higher highs strategy and you're trying to catch those quick relief bounces, they're usually going to be a little bit more truncated in comparison to if you catch a lower low and you catch a scalp on the downside, just on average, because if you look at the chart, we're overall down. So next, trend following tends to remain unbiased, assuming the user of the system can continue to objectively choose positions. So trend following really does depend on the user itself in terms of picking a long side or a short side trade. If you are in a bear market, most of the time you're going to have a little bit of bias towards the short side. If you're completely unbiased, you're going to be wanting to follow that trend. So you're following the overall trend, the bear trend. You don't want to counter trade that trend. The trend following strategy. It's the same if you're in a bull run on the opposite side. If you can't win a normal trade, don't bother trying to win a scalp. Again, it's just gambling if you don't have those stop losses set up and you're not prepared for it. Whipsaws and false breakouts will begin to occur on the opposite side in the same frequency. So whipsaws towards the short side become more common before a short-term breakout. Again, we're just getting a little bit more chart bias, a little bit more price action bias towards the short side rather than the long side. So again, you have to keep watching for those whipsaws and for those false breakouts, but they will favor the short side. Next, reductions in volume over time skew in favor of breakdowns rather than breakouts. So this is if you have a completely equilateral triangle and we're seeing a large amount of general, it's too early for me to explain these. We see a big squeeze in price action, a squeeze and a reduction in volatility. Usually there's a 50-50 chance that we'll either break out or break down. But if you look at the overall trend, if you look at the long-term and intermediate term trend and you see that it's bearish, we have a little bit of the probability is shifted a little bit towards the bears in that situation. So whenever we do see that volume to break out, we should still see that accompany those heavy moves. So net sell volume towards the downside, net buy volume towards the long side. That should keep you out of trouble most of the time following that. I only trade Bitcoin in a downtrend, and altcoins and Bitcoin, I trade them on an uptrend. That's interesting. Interesting strategy. AJ Styles from Bitcoin India. Glad that we're getting people from all over the world in this. Number 6, to reply to the video comment. If you can't win normal, yeah. Number 7, have a strategy always. RSI is your friend. I haven't been using RSI too much, but you do have to have a strategy, do have to have multiple confirmations. So not just price action, but something else. I like to use price action and volume personally. RSI is your friend. What about those of us who use Ichimoku Cloud? I've never had great success with Ichimokus, maybe because I never perfectly understood it, never perfectly understood it, and I didn't put enough time into understanding it. Number 8, Reddit, Wall Street Bets, and Twitter is not good financial advice. It's good entertainment, and every now and then, if you're following the right people, the perfect right people, I'm talking about crypto Twitter, then you can get a little bit of an advantage, but I don't think anybody is following exactly the right people, but it's great entertainment. All right, so now we're going to do some chart analysis. We're going to do Axia Infinity. If you guys have any requests, we will do that. Let's do Axia Infinity and maybe one other, maybe like a Bitcoin or an Ether or just some blue chip crypto. And then, because everything else just looks terrible. And then we'll do a giveaway, and then we'll do a little bit more chart analysis. So let's go ahead and switch over to TradingView. Have we been trading TradingView the whole time? All right, so this is going to be on Bybit. Let's go ahead and move over to AXS. Let's make sure we're streaming it correctly. Yep. Let's take my face off or do this so you guys can see a little bit better. Number 9. I love it, CryptoPoon. Number 9. Welcome to the biggest casino on earth and have fun. Yeah, if you're good at poker, you're probably pretty good at crypto trading. Is what I like to say. So let's move over back to TradingView. We've got AXS. Let's just start on the weekly. All right, so this is all of our price action at the moment. This is going to be a little bit cut off or truncated based on the listing on Bybit, but that is completely fine. We'll do less long-term price action or long-term analysis, and we'll do some more short-term. So we're going to start on the weekly either way, and there's nothing that is relevant. So let's move into the daily, stretch it out. It looks like we are fully in the midst of this intermediate term bear trend. Is that intermediate from November to June? I'd still call it intermediate. I'd say we're teetering between intermediate and long-term at the moment if we measure that out. It looks like we do have a nice little correction back towards the long side. Can measure that just to get some ideas on the size of these trends. So right around 72% towards 44. What are we down right now? We're not going to be trading off of that. I'm not a fan of the fractal trading, but it just gives us a good idea as to how large these trends are themselves. So now we're going to move into the 4-hour again. All this price action up here, $47 plus, $40 plus, is going to be very irrelevant at the moment. We're going to be focusing on a lot of the price action through here, probably towards the short to intermediate term. Now that's from June to May. I definitely call that on the edge of short term. We're going to zoom in a little bit more. Anything towards the long side that we're going to see, we're definitely going to have to look at Bitcoin and Ether after this, because there's going to be a little bit of confluence on whether we see a breakout or a breakdown on those charts for if we'll see a breakout or a breakdown on AXS. We can also look at AXS to Bitcoin, give us some good insight. But let's go ahead and zoom in just a little bit more and see if there's anything we can put in terms of a top side of this range. Now, it's not going to be a range that we're actually hitting. It's going to be from our previous price action. I'm going to put it right through there. That was our breakdown point. See if that lines up. Make sure it's nice and big so everybody can see. There's our breakdown point. There is a conservative low for the bottom side of our previous range. it's going to be right around 1920. Got a feeling we're not going to touch that for quite a bit, but that is just a guess. So what are we looking at as we zoom in? We are looking at some very similar price action to what we've been seeing from both Bitcoin and Ether. Again, let's see. Looks like we do have a little bit of alignment here, so that may be a rejection. We did slightly push above, a little bit of slop above, right around 1622. We went above. It doesn't matter how high we went above. We can measure that. It's going to be just a half percentage point or something. Right around 0.83%. Again, it doesn't matter. We have made a higher high, not by much. We are making higher lows pretty consistently. Now, the real hitter right now is going to be a breakdown below this level, in my opinion. I think a lot of people are probably seeing that now that we are seeing this sideways range towards the shorter term, we're going to draw our range support and resistance on the 2 hour, and then we're going to zoom in and see if there's anything that's suggesting short-term moves that could push us out of this. So we can draw it based on closes first, and then we can move into maybe the 1 hour and the 30 minutes and maybe move it around based on those shadows. Some more of the absolute price. So there's going to be our support and our resistance for this range at the moment, all based on closes. Looks like we are squeezing just a little bit further. We are compressing. Let's go ahead and add volume to the chart. And we do see declining volume overall throughout this trend. Should see a breakout in one direction or the other. Obviously, now we're going to try to set some good confirmations for either a breakout or a breakdown as we move in. Let's go ahead and see if there's anything we should do in terms of shifting a little bit higher or a little bit lower for these support and resistances. Now, a little bit lower. Does that look better? Does that look worse? Bring it up a little bit. This actually looks a little bit better in my opinion. Depends if we're going to trade on closes or based on shadows. Let's say 1362. Probably not going to trade in between at the moment. We can actually measure that in just a moment. Let's do everything based on shadows. Bring that down just a little bit. And that does give good alignment on both, from both. A little bit of a mix of shadows and closes. Right around 3.85% in terms of the magnitude of our current trend. All in the short term, we are going to be looking for a confirmation on the long side or the short side. We can do it either based on closes or the higher highs or lower lows strategy. So our current low on the downside, in terms of the short term, is going to be right through here. It depends what we want, though. It depends if we want the shortest term or we want something closer to, well, let's just measure these first and see if it would even be worth it. So on the short side, you're looking at maybe 1.84, maybe halfway, 1.09%. Should be fine with a little bit of leverage. On the long side, we're looking at the same thing for a scalp. Same thing with just a little bit of leverage. This is all, we're setting these nice and we're setting very short term and very short in magnitude sell targets because we don't know if we're going to return to a flat top or a flat bottom. So 1.06% on the short side, some 5x leverage, that could be fine. Now, if we come down, what are we looking at for stop losses? 2%, a little bit lower than that. That's just a little bit too even. So we're going to have to set something up. I'm going to come back to the comments and see if you guys are looking at the same chart. Ooh, we got some more lessons. Welcome to there is no instant rich formula. Safe trades for healthy lifestyle. Absolutely. If somebody had a formula, they wouldn't be releasing it on the internet. They wouldn't be, that IP would be worth millions of dollars. And they're either selling it to somebody or they're using it themselves if they have the capital. There are people that probably have developed a very good trading formula that just don't have the capital or haven't been able to automate it. Like they have the perfect strategy, but they don't have the emotional support or the emotional belief to actually, emotional control to actually trade it properly. So I'd say there's like maybe 5 outliers, but yeah, in general, you're correct. For physical, mental, and spiritual sanity, absolutely. Sufficient lessons for today. No, those were great. Those are great. It's always great to compare. Anything else? Change the sound effect. Oh, I'm not in charge of changing the sound effect for for Bybit. Booking profit is as important as holding. Absolutely. All right, let's go back to the chart and let's see if we can get some real alpha on this one. So let's move into the 30. I have a feeling it's just going to slop it up a little bit, and it's not going to help much because we are looking at shadows now in terms of an entry or exit. We're still actually, everything would still work based on closes. So we bring this up a little bit based on our most local closes, the same on the downside. Now, would we want it from the 30-minute or the hour or the 2-hour? Well, what are we looking at here? We're looking at a slight rise. Zoom in here. Slight rise, a little bit of higher highs from these closes for this area through here. So now this is what we're looking at. This forward. First, 14.025. Second, barely higher. We call that flat. And that third, right around 14.1. So that does show a little bit of weakness in terms of that formation. So we did see, just in terms of the psychology right now, we did see a break above what was previously acting as a resistance. So we had, where's my little stick? We did have this through here, almost the exact same area. We push above, we're waiting for that close, and we don't see it until right around here. We do see that close, and it ends up acting as a whipsaw back towards the downside. That does tell us that we did see a nice push back from sellers. So that does push us back towards the bottom through here. Do we see a continuation from this, whether that is actually acting as a triangle formation? It's to be determined. Zoom in just a little bit more. Again, this is getting sloppy, but it's fine. Zoom in a little bit more. Here's our current resistance. As we move down, we kind of just shift down our previous highs, and it's right around 13.89. Do we see a drop off? We still don't have any bias in either direction. We're seeing lower highs, we're seeing higher lows, depending on where this closes through here. Do we see flat bottom through here at right around 1363? For a quick breakdown, it's all going to depend right now. I think we need to move to the Bitcoin and the Ether chart. I think most of these alt charts are going to be heavily dependent on if we're seeing a breakdown below 20,000/1,000, 20,000 for Bitcoin, 1,000 for Ether, or we see a breakout above those highs, those local highs. Maybe we try to find those local highs, and that'll give us some better insight because we do have a solid range on AXS. We do know what we should be doing. We should be waiting for local breakouts, or local breakdowns within the bounds of our short-term range and our intermediate-term range. Our intermediate-term range, but we don't know and we can't predict anything until we see the price action from Bitcoin or Ether. So that's what we're going to move over to. So here's Bitcoin. Catch some comments real quick. Still good. Let's do Bitcoin/Ether, and then we'll do that giveaway. So zoom out a little bit. Let's just start on the daily. Daily's not going to tell us much in terms of our local price action. It's going to be very depressing, as we can see. Our previous breakdown is right through here. Where was our hold? Probably a little bit lower than that. Maybe right around 29,580, somewhere between 29,000 and 30,000 was our previous hold. Previous low was 26,585. Do we come back up for that? We have no idea just yet. We got to wait for that volume to either flood in or flood out. Flood in from the buy side, or honestly flood in from the sell side. Now, how much volume is it going to take from the sell side to break down from these levels? I think it's a lot more than people were expecting. But overall, we are seeing a decline in that volume. We are seeing a net bias from sellers, obviously, because our price is lower than it was at the beginning of the formation. So we can say the beginning of the formation was close to here. This is what we're looking at now. At the beginning, we were at right around maybe an average of 22.8. Now we're close to 26.84. Sellers are currently in control. Let's go ahead and check for the top side of the range. If we can form a range on the 4-hour, anything through here, I'd say that's good in general. It's not completely representative because we do have this previous high at 23,491, second high at 22,970. If we move this up just a tiny bit, just for posterity. In terms of the bottom, we can start on our absolute low, which is right on 20,070. That's going to be our support. This is the Bybit perpetual. I think it's a little bit different. It's off by a couple of dollars on other exchanges. That's what we have in terms of our intermediate. Well, it's a short-term range. Moving to the 2 hour, see if we can get anything better. We're sticking with those ranges. I like that. In terms of our trough through here and our peak through here based on those shadows. I like that a lot. I believe this is where I have my, I have alerts set for this. On my main charts, it'll be you set an alert for something like this. Set an alert for something like that for any type of higher high or lower low. And you go ahead and jump in for some good trades. Not only for Bitcoin and Ethereum, but also for those alts that you've been looking at. Also, it can be very useful because if you have a long setup on AXS or on AVAX or on Atom or anything like that, and then we do actually see a breakdown below 20. So let's say you set your alert at whatever that is, 19,955. If we see that breakdown, you can jump in and maybe change around your stop loss for your altcoin trades. They're all going to have an effect on each other at the moment. Sometimes we're going to see outliers like we saw Link over the past, I don't even know, 2 weeks. It's been doing all right, but most of the time we will not. I believe Link was like one outlier out of maybe like 3 for a total of 100 plus coins on the list that I was looking at or that I've been looking at over the past few months. So it's definitely not going to be expected. Now, as we zoom in, we can tighten up our range towards the long side based on this new lower high in terms of more local price action. This is going to be very interesting as we move up. If we can break out of 21,342, what is this going to give us if we come up to this previous price action? We've already made that lower high, although this was a little bit sloppy. We did see a false breakdown from 21.3 to 28. We did see, I mean, you could call that a false breakout, but there's no close above that level, I don't think, on any of the other time frames. We can move back to the 4 hour. Nope. The 2 hour. Nope. The 1 hour. No. So I wouldn't call that a false breakout towards the long side. Just a quick exhaustion back towards a lower low at close to 29. May have been sellers were really just trying to push as close as possible to 20,000. Well, let's zoom in for some more tradable price action. Moving to the 1 hour. In terms of close base, looks like we've got a little bit through here. That is a slightly lower low, slightly lower high, excuse me, based on closes. In terms of the bottom side through here, we're looking at something very similar. Again, there's not much of a jump between this low and our absolute low. So right around 0.8%. Not entirely necessary unless you want a 0.5% scalp between 20,224 and 20,060. So what we're looking at right now is going to be a higher high based on closes, which would be a regular confirmation. We do see this bottoming out through here. If we can hold above our previous support, or what is now flipped into a support, very small little range right through here at close to 20,388. That's what we were looking at yesterday, was the bottoming out and a setup of just a little bit of support at that level. If we can hold that, we come back up. That's almost a very sloppy cup and handle, which is fine. And if we can see a close above this level at maybe 21,171, you get a little bit of confirmation from our price action as well, based on these topside shadows at 21,300. That could very well set us up for a nice little bounce towards the long side. Towards the short side, we're really just waiting for that lower low. We can just measure that stretch. That could be fine, but we're gonna have to zoom in a little bit further. Let's see if anybody's even interested in shorting right now. Bitcoin should come down to 1,000 so we can all start over. That would make a lot of people unhappy and a very minority of people happy, very happy. Even if it made you super happy and me super happy, I think it would make enough people so unhappy that I don't know if Bitcoin could return from that. I don't know, just an opinion. Bitcoin is ranging. It seems not intent on breaking the 20,000 support to the downside. Maybe the S&P 500 should stop ranging and continue declining for Bitcoin to break 20,000 support. I think we're going to see one or the other if we're going to see it. I think if we see S&P, we're going to see Bitcoin. If we see Bitcoin, we're going to see S&P. I actually wrote a paper in college about however many years ago. I don't like to say how old I am. I'm not super old. I wrote a paper in college about the relationship between the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ and stock market indices versus the Bitcoin price. Does it still reflect today? A little bit. But basically, it was for a financial statistics class. I can't remember the exact name, but it was a cross between finance and statistics, and we all had to write papers, and there was a correlation. That's what I have. There was a statistical correlation. I have a sell limit order below 20,000, though, expecting a breakdown below 20,000. A sell limit order. Gotta make sure that that is set up correctly in case there's a giant domino effect just below 20,000. If you set it at 19,900, it might slip through. Might slip straight through. Bitcoin at 1,000. Some people will have a heart attack, and those who miraculously lose their life savings every time price goes down will have a fit. Yeah, I think Bitcoin down to 1,000 would be bad news for just about everybody. I think that's, the very few winners would not make up for all the losers. I think that would be a very sad situation. Which, we would have to see a giant stock market crash as well. So it'd be a sad situation for everybody. So back to the chart. Let's do a little bit more Bitcoin and see if we can find something towards the downside real quick. And then we're going to do that giveaway, and then we'll switch over to Ether or requests. So towards the downside, what are we looking at? Let's zoom into the 30 in just a second. I think what we're going to see first is going to be that lower low. Right through, where was it? Right through here or so, based on our previous low through here. So we can actually mark these off so you guys can see where they're coming from. Green is coming from there. These, this right here is coming from these closes and these closes. This right here is coming from this previous high as we move into our local price action. So local price action gives us a bottom through here and a top through here for our range. And then some nice flippage through here. Does it flip from a resistance, comes down, comes up, comes back down, flips into a support, holds, we continue, and it's now holding as an absolute support rather than a support based on those closes. So that's a good level at right around 20,374. Now again, is that tradable? You're either looking at a trade down to our previous low or previous absolute low based on these bottom side shadows, which is right around 0.71%. Not tradable without margin, in my opinion, or on most exchanges with those fees, or the per trade fee. And then right around 1.53, you're going to want to bring that up just a little bit, but that's going to be tough. I think it's going to be very tough on the short side for any type of trade from current price action. But we can keep following it. We'll move into the 30, see if it changes anything. I don't think it will. Still have the same thing. Let's move back to the 1 hour and look at volume. And not much at all. Nothing significant in terms of changes at all. We're not seeing anything significant. We're seeing a slight decline. Excuse me, the coffee. Slight decline on the 2 hour, slight decline on the 4 hour, a little bit flat on the 4 hour, slight decline from the overall. But in terms of local price action, we're not really getting much from volume. That's unfortunate. We're getting these slight little bursts of buy volume that pushes straight up from here to here, from here to here. And for our current price action, it looks like sellers are still overtaking. I think we're going to have to find out. That's what we have right now, though. That's a perfectly fine range. Like I said before, it's like 3 point, oh wow, it's like 4.71%. Still perfectly fine. Any trades in between? Is there a good inflection level? Possibly somewhere around 20,879. But let's just stick to the range at the moment and do that giveaway. So let's move over real quick. How's it going? Good to see you here as well. So let's do the giveaway. We got a good amount of people in here. Let's go ahead and switch over to Menti. So what do I need to do? Became a little bit more confusing to switch over the past. I think there was an update to the software we use, but let's go ahead and share Menti.com. All right. So let's open it up real quick. Error. Wait a minute. Okay, we should be good. So if you would like to enter for the US dollar tether, this is going to be a futures bonus giveaway. The US dollar tether futures bonus giveaway. I'm looking for my notes. Futures bonus giveaway. You have to have a Bybit account, and you also have to be have a Telegram or a Discord account and be a part of one of the official Bybit channels on Telegram or Discord. So what you're going to do is go to menti.com, and you're going to type in the code 85822876. Voting's closed. Excuse me. Let's open it up. Official open. And we'll give it maybe 5-6 minutes for everybody to get a chance. So voting is now open. You go to menti.com, and what you're going to want to do is type in at your Telegram or your Discord name. And if you can, please do dash either Telegram or dash Discord, so it makes it a lot easier for us to reach out to you. I got to stop drinking coffee before these streams. It makes the words come out wrong. I've definitely noticed whenever I don't have coffee, I can do the full hour long stream without messing up too much. But with the coffee, it makes it tough. How's it going, Olumide? Oluwaz? Oh, Charvin, our winner from last week. Got quite a few season winners in here. Oluwaz, Olumide, and Charvin. Anybody else? No. I'm sure we'll get them in here. But yeah, so submit your Telegram or your Discord name. Make sure you are a part of one of the official Bybit channels. And what we're going to need to do, social distance. What we're going to need to do is have you reach out. If you are the winner, we'll at you in chat. You'll reach out to either me or Kilo, Telegram or Discord, and we'll get your UID, and we'll start that process. Officer or Oluwaz Andy from Bybit Telegram. Oh, yeah, I knew Oluwaz was from the Bybit Africa Telegram. Blacklist, another seasoned winner. Where's Haywai? Haywai was a double winner. Let's give it maybe 1 or 2 more minutes. Looks like we've got 13 entries. Got a few more viewers in that. Make sure everybody gets a shot. Also, some news. I believe next week will be our last live stream for this season. Beyond that, we're going to move over back to YouTube for videos. So I'm actually going to be starting a series called Textbook Trading. It's going to go through in a very similar format to these lectures, but shorter. So it's going to be kind of the basics of trading in maybe 2 or 3 minute videos. We're going to go through, I think we're starting with trends, support and resistance, and then we're going to start to jump through all the different aspects, candlestick formations, how to enter. Go to menti.com and type in the code 85822876. Textbook Trading, you like that? I thought it was cool. A little alliteration. And you're going to submit your Telegram or your Discord name. So do at Telegram or Discord name. And then if you can, put dash Telegram or dash Discord. Great to see you guys as well. Miss the live streams. Hopefully we'll do some live streams in the future as well. Blacklist is Telegram. All right. We got it here. So yeah, you can do what Blacklist did. If you forgot to add dash Telegram or dash Discord, you can put it in the comments here on YouTube. But yeah, we'll still put videos out every week. So we'll have a Crypto Beat video that comes out once a month, and we'll have the regular Crypto Beat needs your help on how to enter. We'll still have those weekly videos. They'll just be trading videos now. So if you guys are interested in some trading videos that give you a very nice sum up of the different aspects, maybe some different indicators. We'll talk about different trading strategies, different models. It'll be pretty cool. We're going to add some graphics and stuff. It's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty fun. But I'll keep interacting with you guys through the Discord, and maybe we'll make you guys can reach out to me on Telegram, stuff like that. we'll keep it going, and hopefully in the future, maybe once a month or once a quarter or something like that, we can do a fun trading live stream. But to be determined. All right. Yeah, no more live streams. Maybe we'll set something up in the future though. Just for this next couple months. We'll figure it out. All right, so we're gonna close it off. We are at 21 entries. Were you able to join CryptoPoon? So I know you're having some difficulties with entering your name. Let's go ahead and check. CryptoPoon, there you are. All right, so let's go ahead and close it off. We'll give it a 10-second countdown in case there's 22 people. We got 22 viewers. That'll do it. We'll close it. Thank you guys so much for joining. Let me go ahead and collect the names real quick. Remember how to do this? I'm going to export, and then we're going to run it through the classic wheel of names. So let's move over to sharing that real quick. My favorite little let's add that. Let's share. Where is it? Wheel of names. There's our winner from last week. And clear all this out. And then let's add our winners real quick. Or not our winners, add our participants. This is the 15th giveaway we've done on trading mindsets. Pretty cool. Make sure we have no duplicates real quick. Looks like we don't. And then anybody else who hasn't put Dash Telegram or Discord, if you do happen to win, make sure to mention that on the chat. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's give it a spin. Good luck, everybody. Is Haywire in here? Is he going to win again? Oh, looks like we do have a new winner, and that's going to be Vincent Lowe. Congratulations, Vincent. I don't think I've seen you in the stream yet, so it's good to have you. Maybe you've joined in one or two, but congratulations either way. Vincent Lowe on Telegram. What you can do if you are in the chat right now is go ahead and reach out to either me or Kilo on Telegram and send us a DM, and we'll start processing that bonus. So let's actually move back over to the chart, and let's do some last requests before we close out the stream. Congrats, Vincent. Congrats. Wheel of names. I like it. It's festive. All right. So maybe we move over to Ether. What do you guys think? Anybody else want to throw out a suggestion? We've done Axia. We could do Bit. Maybe something that's trading crazy right now. Let's just look at our list. Any big changes right now? OGN is up. Let's take a look at OGN. I don't know what IMX Immutable X is. OGN just made a new high. That's gonna be fun. This is on the 1 hour. Just follow this for a few minutes and see. So this is what we were talking about last week, was this higher high strategy, and in combination with what we were talking about just a few minutes ago. So right around 1.87% on the difference there for the higher high. Here, what we've seen so far is right around 1.38, even 1.87. Be small scalps towards the long side. If we saw these scalps, if we saw a breakdown, we saw lower lows towards the downside, we might be able to catch a little bit more, but we can actually measure that. So what we saw through here, first lower low, 420, no lower lows through here. First lower low through here was giant, 781, 8% max. Maybe you close it out on the candlestick. That's 3.47. Lower low through here, and they're starting to squeeze down a little bit, 1.52. Not much. One through here, you definitely get stopped out, 0.38%. One through here, is that even a lower low? The low here is 0.1819. Low here is 0.1817. You would have got stopped out there as well. And then we see a new low based on this. And you're looking at 1.62. You got a new low through here, and you're looking at 1.28. We're seeing a little bit of long side bias. Or actually, it's very even. 0.236. Was it here? 2.83. I think we're seeing a quick squeeze. That's fun. It's not running. I don't know if there's a volume for it. It's not running like we would see on Link or any of the super large market cap coins. We do have resistance here, though. That's what's stopping us out. Previous bottom from the beginning of the month through here. Maybe we move out to the 4-hour. See if it gives us any closes through these levels. There's the breakdown. There's the breakdown right there. That's making sense now. There's the general. You can move it up. Probably want to move it down, actually get some alignment. We would probably have a little bit more of an exact breakdown level through here, so we could wick up a little bit higher like we actually saw right through here. But I'd be very interested to see if this rejects or not. So basically, we're seeing our closed-based resistance coming from our previous support through here a touch, and then no closes below this level, and now gives us closed-based resistance through here. So depending on if this closes in the next 3 hours, it's 4 hour, the next 3 hours below this level, that isn't the smallest possibility. That's actually pretty possible that we close below, we reject one more time, and we come down and have to build up a little bit more volume towards the long side. But what we're seeing is a flip in terms of the actual bottom, or the actual breakdown level. So what caused us, or where was the level in which we actually broke down straight to these levels, or these two giant 4-hour bear candlesticks? It was not the bottom through here at 24.58 cents, but it's most likely a little bit higher than that, probably close to 24.90, or maybe 25 cents on the dot. And that gives us our current alignment for resistance through here. So 24.9. That's what we're seeing. If we actually zoomed into something like the 1 hour or the 30-minute, we might actually get a good confirmation of that, because we don't know anything yet. So that's what we're getting in terms of, yep, that breakdown right through there. Could be a slightly higher, but based on our previous bottom side shadows throughout that level, does make a lot of sense. But we're seeing right through here. What did we need to see for this giant breakdown, relatively giant breakdown on the 1 hour, on the 4 hour of whatever that was? Let's go ahead and measure that. 16.36. Where did we see confirmation? We saw confirmation once we pushed down below the support that was building up right around this level, anywhere between 24.9 and 25 cents flat or so. So that's our breakdown. We're most likely going to see that travel to our level, and that's what we're seeing right now. So we're waiting for these closes based on our close-based resistance will be through here right around 24.4, and our absolute resistance, or our shadow-based resistance, is going to be closer to 24.9 or 25 cents flat. So everything is forming right now, and that basically debunks the theory of the higher high for a breakout, because we have previous resistance, and it's pretty local as well. It's from June 10th and June 7th. So that's OGN. Let's go back to the stream, see if anybody's oh, we got some coins. Let's do a couple coins. Win giveaway. We just did the giveaway. Next week. We're still doing a giveaway next week. Sorry about that, Blakey. Polkadot, Ape. We'll do a couple of these. Polkadot, 8-bit, and maybe we'll do 2, because we're already at the end of the stream, but we'll extend it a little bit as we usually do. OGN US dollar seems to be looking good. We have to wait for those closes, in my opinion, because the higher highs, when we're that close to past support, now acting as resistance, it's a tough one. If it was completely open and clear, if there was no previous resistance at that level, if we had, you know, how do I move back over? If this was all, like if there's none of this price action through here and it was a breakout or a breakdown, like a giant breakdown, slow down, giant breakdown, then the higher high I think would perform a little bit better. But because we spent so much time at that level and formed a previous support through here, it's going to be tough, and we're going to need a little bit more confirmation. We need to go a little bit higher based on our absolute price action. So maybe that's 2%, maybe a little bit higher, 2.5%, 3%. Honestly, you go above here, that's a really good confirmation. Above 3.5, and you're not missing out on much because you're looking at a run up to these next levels. Again, I think are we favoring the bull side right now? So run up to these next levels, stay out of that. Oof. It's a tough one. We can go back to that in just a second. But let me get all these suggestions in. Let's see. Bit. So Polkadot, Bit, Ape. I don't think I've ever charted Ape. Solana. Oh, you're saying Celsius, but it's not. Yeah, I think it got delisted. All right, let's go with that. YouTube DP. Change up DP on Telegram. All right, let's do these, and let's do maybe 2 of these. What was requested first, and then we'll roll the others over to next stream, the final stream. But I'll make sure to do one. Maybe I'll do one just for fun in the future. So Polkadot and then Ape. Let's do these. Let's do Polkadot first. All right. So let's start on the daily real quick. Zoom all the way out. All right. I'd say from this chart, we're probably in a bear run. Zoom back in a little bit. What are we looking at in terms of this local low? What is this giving us? That's not even a local low. That is an absolute low almost. 7,250. Has it given us anything? Not really. 634. Neither of these are entirely relevant right now, unless we're going for the short side. 11. It's a little too far. Maybe 7 or 8. All right. So let's just ignore those for the moment. See if we find anything. Any good support and resistance flips based on closes through here. A little bit of price action through there between, 750. We'll make it flat, 750 flat. That's going to be acting as a resistance. Now, I think I like it a little bit lower better. That's better alignment. I'm liking everything right now based on shadows rather than closes, especially on these shorter term time frames. A lot of the times we can't really form anything based on, like, there's too much magnitude between breaking out of our range and moving to another level, both on the long and the short side, which is what we would usually use candlestick closes for those confirmations. And in my opinion, the charts right now, as short term as these bounces are, as these little relief bounces and these scalps are, it's better to use the absolute price action. So that's kind of what we're focusing on right now. Let's move in a little bit to, let's see, maybe we go with lows through here, 6,970. Went just below 7. Anything below there, 6,845. I might want to zoom in just a little bit more. Between 7 and 6,960. That's not a huge stretch. Let's set it just slightly below. Be a little bit conservative. Set it right through here. Call these whipsaws. Let's do this until we move in. All right, so we move into the 2 hour. We didn't take a look at volume on the 4 hour. Wow. Very sloppy. Again, that breakout I think was pretty unexpected. And it's just a relief at a lower low. So below it was 7,225, and now it's 634. Do we have any historical price action to explain that? Most likely not. We would need, let's move out to the weekly. Do we have anything? Nope. Not on the Bybit perpetual. There might be a spot market that can explain that, but We don't really need that right now. So let's move back into the 2 hour and then maybe the 1 hour, and keep an eye on this volume. Pretty flat, almost expiring. Most likely going to see a continuation of this, but between here and here, it's right around 16%. That's giant. Between absolute and absolute, that's right around 20.59. It's not bad. But what everything is stacking up for right now is going to be that breakdown. Unless we see a very nice breakout from the 745 level. So the formation itself does look bearish, and volume does look bearish, although we could be proven wrong. We could be proven wrong by a healthy break above right around 745. Moving to the 1 hour, any changes? Again, volume's teetering out. Same thing in terms of the absolute, so 745. In terms of the bottom side, again, we've got a little bit of bias just from the formation. It's just let's draw that out real quick. Not for confirmations, just to catch the trend. Let's bring it back up and let's not extend that. Let's do something like that. Doesn't need to be perfect. We're just getting a general shape of the trend. Something like this. And that's either a pennant or a flag. Either way, it's a bearish formation, technically, according to the textbook, according to the technicals. It's a bearish breakdown. We have seen a close below that level. Now, is that a good confirmation? Most of the time, not. Most of the time, we do need a little bit more than that. So our previous level was at, actually, we'll have to redraw that. Maybe something like that. We can keep it a little bit tighter. Now we go ahead and measure how far we've gone below that. It's right around 1.48, 1.53%. It's right on the edge of actually being confirmed based on absolute price action. And it's really going to depend on this close as well. If this close is similar to this current candlestick, we might see a whipsaw back up. And something that does exactly what it usually shouldn't, but we see quite often. So a violation of what would be a perfect breakdown, but we just don't have enough price action confirmation. We don't have a good close confirmation. From the 2 hour, again, we would need to close quite low. So between right around 720, between here and probably a half percentage point lower. It's right around there. Would confirm us back towards the downside. For the long side, we can see a slight whipsaw back up, and we blast straight through here. So I don't think anything's confirmed just yet. We need a little bit more in one direction or the other. Towards the long side, it's pretty obvious. Towards the short side, it's way less obvious. We can move into 30 minutes, see if we can get anything from that. We're looking at, that was holding as a range here and a little bit lower through here. So 740 and 722. We've come down 1.32%. What is the magnitude of the range itself? Between 242 and right around 379. This is a tough one in terms of the short side. I would probably, I'd stay away from it unless we saw really good confirmation from either a 30-minute, a 1 hour, 2 hour close. Probably preferring the 2 hour. Web 3 kilo or not, still anonymous. Web 3 kilo. Does Web 3 kilo show his face or still wants to be anonymous? Always anonymous. Oh yeah. Oh, there's 2 kilos now. I love it. I love it. Well, it's always great to have you in here. So we got a little bit of clarity on the long side for Polkadot. The short side is just too confusing right now. I'm going to avoid it. You know, stick to what you're good at. If it's not an obvious trade, don't hunt for it. Don't try to jump into something just for the sake of it. So next we're going to do Ape. This is my first Ape charting. And then we're going to keep Bit and Solana for next time. So this will be the last charts. Let's go ahead and move over to Ape. I don't even think I have it in the favorites. Let's add it anyways. Perpetual. There we go. Oh, see, Luna delisted. That's fine. It probably makes sense. I don't know. Not my call. So let's zoom out to the 1 day. Nothing. Let's actually zoom all the way out. Can anybody explain ape? Oh, what was I trading back here? Maybe I have charted ape before. I must have done this on, excuse me. I must have done this on stream because I've never traded ape. $20. Oh my gosh. All right, well, let's take those off. I don't even know what that was on. Nothing from the weekly, obviously. Moving to the daily, reset. Nothing probably too relevant. Well, we can just put a resistance up here just in case on the 2 hour or something. We see that on the top side. All right, moving to the 4 hour. Again, it almost looks like a diamond formation, which would be interesting because you never see those. Diamond as in higher highs, lower lows, lower highs, higher lows. But that's actually a very inconsistent formation. So trading off of it, saying, all right, we've got a diamond. We're going to break out, we're going to break down. Not recommended by just about anybody. But we do see good confirmation on it from some of our more intermediate term, or not really intermediate term, like basically saying we don't have to wait for the top side of the range or the bottom side of the range. We can wait for something like this, or we can wait for something like that. It does give us a little bit more of an advantage from the diamond itself. So it doesn't hurt. All right, so there's our resistance. There is our support based on absolutes. Still on the 4 hour. Let's stretch this out, make sure those are a little bit more lined up. Looks fine here, looks fine here. Little whipsaw, come back down. A little bit of slop on these closes, that's fine. I think we're going to keep it here, and we're going to see as we move in what happens with these closes. I've got a feeling they're going to come back down. And then all of this looks fine. It's interesting right here. I think we saw that on a couple other charts as well, where it forms that lower low real quick and it comes straight back up for a high. I think Link did that. Link did that? Link or Ether? Or both, probably? Probably Link, actually. Makes a lot more sense. So, looks like we don't have the same thing. We don't have those same closes. What was that at before? That was at 3,720. This is at 3,782. On 3,720. Okay. 3,782 or 3,777 or so. Nothing perfect, honestly. We go to the bottom side of that, or we go to the top side of it. We're going to need more than that. Let's go a little bit more local for that. Let's just draw it as this high through here and see what the 1 hour and the 30-minute tell us in just a minute. Because nothing perfect on that side. In terms of the downside, draw one more. Squeezing in this range as we become more and more short term. It's going to be support. So we start with their outermost range, and we squeeze it in as we go towards the shorter term time frames. I believe we talked about this in the modified trading ranges strategy. Talked about it 2-3 weeks ago, I believe. So let's see, 3770. Come back down based on closes. We're a little bit less. 3.6. Downside here. 3.477. And through here at 3.379. Let's go ahead and measure that for a quick short. 290. That should be fine. So let's go ahead. Just set up a trade position and check the risk reward on that. So there's our support. We go with any lower low for a scalp. We go with this for our sell target slash for our support. We're going to bring it up to beat out both other sellers and the bottom sides of those shadows. Now, how high do we bring it up? That's the real question. We're going to keep it right here, and then we're going to try to find our stop loss, and then we're going to manipulate it from there, or change it up from there. So let's go just above these previous shadows through here. That gives us pokes through here and here and here. Actually looks pretty good. Make that purple for our stop loss. And let's go ahead and bring out the short position. We go from our blue as our entry. We go to our purple as our stop loss. And then we go to that for our sell target. Now, do we want to keep it? Are we fine with a 1.51 risk reward ratio? I'd like to keep it ideally a little bit higher than that. But do we want to violate any of these? I don't think we do. So that might just have to be 1.51. Can we bring it down anywhere on the stop loss side? Can we bring it up a little bit on? We can bring it up just slightly on our entry. It'd probably give us like a 1.55, 1.61. I'm fine with that. On a new low in the short term, that gives us enough of an advantage in terms of probability for a short side position. Educational purposes only, as always. Will ape tokens survive the bear market? I have no idea. Like I said, I've only charted ape once. I've never traded it, never looked into it. Best coin to trade. What are the criteria to choose the best coin to trade? Well, it depends on what type of trading you're doing. Are you talking about investing? Are you talking about scalping? Are you talking about trend following? How often are you trading? That's going to give you different pairs. Because if you're looking for quick trend following trades, maybe your Bitcoin pairs. So an alt to a Bitcoin, in my opinion, have been the best. Now, it depends on if it were in a bull or bear market as well. In a bull market, alt to Bitcoin pairs are great on the short side. Alt to Bitcoin pairs on the long side are great in a bear market. If you're looking for scalping, again, depends on our bull or bear market. US dollar tether trades, my opinion, tend to do the best. You have a little bit more range. Win giveaway. We actually already did the giveaway. The live stream was supposed to end like 17 minutes ago, but we're just doing a little bit more analysis on ape. We will have another giveaway next week, though. Any other textbook trading new season? Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be short. It's gonna be sweet, and it's going to be textbook or technically accurate. We're gonna get some good statistics. Everything's gonna be well researched. It's gonna be really fun. Enjoying our last live stream from the season. Well, next week's the last live stream. So we got one more, Mr. Web3 Kilo. How to identify good crypto for a long time? That I can't make recommendations on that. But maybe there are people out there that can. Maybe some people in the Discord and the Telegram can give you good advice on that. But this is all for educational purposes only. We're not making recommendations for a position, a trade, or an investment. All right, towards the long side, is there anything that shouts out? Probably not. I'm probably going to favor the short side on ape right now. Just based on, obviously, we need to see that confirmation first. But there's nothing that shouts out in terms of even a confirmation towards the long side because of all of this slop through here. Now, yes, usually we can just cut that out and say, all right, we're going to ignore it. We're going to look at our previous support and resistance flips. Maybe through here. We can just play with that. Bring it up a little bit. See what that looks like. Okay, let's take this off so we can see the volume. I love when we see the... I'll zoom in so you guys can see that. I love when we see the declining peaks, single bars, then we see the rising lows. It's just, okay, so we have no idea what's going on. If there's declining peaks, flat lows, rising lows, or rising troughs, just no indication whatsoever. That's a great feeling. Yeah, for the long side, I'm not seeing anything. I think we would need to do it based on closes, which for that, maybe we zoom out. No, nothing. Maybe we zoom in with a 30-minute. That clarifies things. Bring it up just a little bit based on those previous. These will just be approaches. That's fine. Here's a touch. Close base, all approaches. It wouldn't make a ton of sense to go back up here after we already did. It would probably be lower, but we don't have volume to suggest anything if it would be lower at all. 2.46%. Let's do the deed. Go into the 15-minute. We're not going into the 5. We're not day trading this. No, nothing. I don't like the long side right now. If there's nothing that says, if you don't have at least 1 or 2 good reasons to even suggest that you make the trade, you probably shouldn't be looking at it for that side. Let's see how Unfi is doing. Still being shorted. We can look at Unfi real quick. Storage analysis. We can do storage next week. We can add that to the list. Maybe next week we just do... trying to think of how we should do it. We'll do like a fun lecture, a short fun lecture, and we'll just do tons of analysis next week. We'll just make a bunch of position outlines and theses. So yeah, let's do Unfi, Unify. It's one that wasn't on Binance. We can just do it real quick then. Very, very quick. Updates. We're seeing no volume on the what was it, the 1 hour? Let's do the 4 hour. Oh wow. Yeah, we're definitely seeing declining volume from this. We're seeing what looks like a generally flat on the bottom. We're seeing a larger margin on the lower highs than we're seeing on the higher lows, which does give us a little bit of bias towards the short side. That's the first thing from the 4 hour. Anything in terms of line up? Let's go to the 2 hour for that. It's completely different, of course. In terms of lows, that gives us something. Can start with that. The 2 hour, bring that a little bit lower. It'll be an approach for the first, and it'll be touches for the next two. That's going to be yellow. We'll just set up a range for this because we are getting the stream's going very long. So we'll set up a range, and then we can check it out next week as well. Top side, nothing shouts out. We'll start it here, but let's not act like that means anything. Let's move it around. I like that a little bit better. Even though we are missing out on a lot of this. Like, how much are we missing out on? That's a lot. 7%. Oh my lord. What is the magnitude on that? 22%. This is what we were looking at. What was last week? On the 10th. Oh, this was way before. Okay, so we weren't. Wow. But we are starting to squeeze down. So we're not going to continue to see, most likely, travel back to the top side of this range because we're squeezing from the top side. We're squeezing from the bottom side. We're holding the bottom. I think travel back to the bottom side of the range is way more likely, just based on our highs and our lows, based on our volume in general, unless we saw some extreme amount of net buy volume, where you would have to move into the 30s to see any confirmation for this. That's a decent confirmation. Quick little setup here, down to targets. Keep it above here, 3.53. Be conservative, 3.60. Maybe close to there, 2.81 at 5.40. That'll be the unfi analysis for the week, because it isn't listed on Bybit, and we try to focus on Bybit pairs. So thank you guys so much. It might not pump again. It seemed to have a potential for pump, but yeah, that's what we're seeing pretty much across the board, is just tons of potential and nothing paying off. I mean, it's just, we're having such extreme days. Like yesterday, everything was down 10 to 15% for like afternoon my time. And then we bounced from that by 4%, 2%, 3, not even 3. I don't see a single 3%, 3% from band, 4% from bat. Across the board, we're not seeing the bullish price action to make up for the extreme amounts of bearish price action. So over time, it's going to be net sells, and it's going to be a continued move down until we can see the net buy volume and the buyers have any type of pushback, find a level where they can find pushback. I think they found 1,000, they found 20,000 for now. If that's going to hold over time, we personally have no idea. We just have to follow that for trading. So if it goes below, we got to trade on the short side, and it's going to be very profitable, hopefully. So that's what we have right now. I will do storage analysis next week. I will do Solana analysis next week, and I will do Bit analysis next week. We'll do a fun lecture. I was talking about scalping. We'll do a fun lecture. We'll do a nice giveaway, our very last giveaway for our very last stream, and then we'll do tons of analysis, and we'll just chat about trading. And maybe we'll tell some stories. If anybody has stories of trading from the past, let's say 2 months or so, or even the last few weeks, I'd love to hear them. You guys could probably submit those in the Discord under Crypto Beat, or you can just submit them in chat. That'd be fun. Maybe I'll try to write up some stories from my trading history, some stuff from like 2016, 2017. Talk about that. It could be fun. But I'll come up with some ideas. Maybe we'll do like an hour-and-a-half stream next week, like this one, but we'll plan on it being an hour and a half. You guys are feel like sticking around. Thank you guys so much. Last question, I was talking about scalping to starting trading hands on about a week ago. What are the criteria to choose the best coins to trade for scalping? Most of the time, yes, you're going to succeed a little bit better with those US dollar tether or those US dollar pairs. I'd probably stay away in general, or I would start with US dollar tether. If you're just getting started, start with US dollar tether pairs, because it's going to make the most sense. The technical analysis is going to be more proper. You're going to be able to follow like the popular and general strategies and have the best idea for or the best probability of doing well. On the Bitcoin pairs, or alt to Bitcoin and alt to ETH pairs, it's gonna be a lot tougher. Do you trade? I do. Is that? I hope that's become obvious from these streams. No, I took like 6 months off at the beginning of this year because it was getting kind of rough mentally, but we're back at it. New strategies, setting up all those alerts so that you don't have to stare at charts all day can be very helpful. Automating things just a little bit can be very helpful. Oh, wow. Crypto changed my life completely. What's up, Vincent? Congratulations on winning. Changed my life completely. I'm able to retire at 70 now instead of 60. Congratulations. Who knows? Who knows what will happen in the next 3, 4, 5 years? Stock market always bounces back. It's not the end of the world. We're going to be fine. With this feeling of despair, your stomach dropping whenever you get alerts on your phone or you see the charts. It's happened many times before. We've seen it happen multiple times for crypto. We've seen it happen in innumerable number of times way past since anybody here was born. On the stock market, it's going to be completely fine. We're going to keep trading, keep a good amount of US dollar tether, US dollar coin, or USD. If you have it, if you can, keep that aside for some trading opportunities. That's what we're looking to do. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Second to last live stream. We're going to do the last live stream next week. Past that, keep an eye out on YouTube. Make sure to throw those notifications on. I'll set up a playlist and everything, and I'll keep, if you guys comment down on those videos, I will respond. We'll keep some conversation open. Let's go ahead and look forward to next week's live stream. Thank you so much. I will see you guys later.